On December 14, 2023, just days before Christmas, Oklahoma police received a chilling 911 call from Daniel Krug about his wife being shot dead.
My wife isn't responding to text messages or phone calls. We have both been targeted by a stalker.
But detectives came to know that Daniel's wife, Crystal Krug, the victim herself, had already predicted this.
Yes, hi there. I need to report threatening emails and phone calls from a stalking ex, and just didn't know what would be the appropriate course here.
Even Daniel, the seemingly caring husband, took every precaution.
Pepper, gel, spray, always in this pocket, asphalt in this one. I've bought some additional security cameras for the house.
But what first seemed like a clear-cut homicide soon unraveled into something far darker, a story of betrayal, obsession, and a stalker far closer than anyone could have imagined.
Both of those accounts originated from IP addresses that list back to your office.
And the whole time.
In October of 2023, Crystal Krug, a biochemical engineer and mother of three, began receiving threatening calls from someone she believed was her desperate ex. As the situation grew more unsettling, she reached out to the police, sharing every detail she could to protect herself and her family. But as detectives began piecing together the evidence, the focus quietly shifted to Crystal's husband. His calm demeanor and carefully chosen words stood out. He had been the one who had reported her missing, and just days later, Crystal was found dead under circumstances no one could easily explain. With questions mounting, investigators interviewed him, but the digital trail would soon unravel everything.
So, again, I know this is the last thing in the world that you ever want to experience. We're trying to do our very best to figure everything out. Okay? So I understand you have 2 phones with you. Those phones are, you said one's a work phone and one is your personal, right? So, who do you work for?
The state.
The state. What do you do for the state?
Department of Public Health.
Okay.
I do money.
Money for them?
Shopping.
Well, you're still going to need this stuff on the list.
Public health.
And environment.
I do operations. I do money.
How it all works. So, your home security system, you access that through your personal phone?
Google Nest.
That's Google Nest, okay.
Now this is me.
Okay.
Just a home.
Home, okay. So I have your permission to operate this phone and get what we need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many different cameras do you have?
4. Doorbell. Side of the house. Driveway. Back door.
How long have you had it?
Camera or doorbell a couple years. Sorry. Doorbell a couple years.
So when do your cameras go off? Do you ever have them set to turn off?
24/7.
Okay.
They don't turn off.
The cameras. Who has the ability to go in the aperture itself?
Christine, me, and
It's alright. It's alright, Dan.
and house phone.
House phone.
I don't know where you are.
I'm in the Google Nest app.
No. Home. Home shows all 4.
Oh,
And-
perfect.
And I don't know that once. All good. I can settings.
Okay.
Oh, just us.
Just looking at Daniel, one could mistake his grief for guilt because of the way he is acting in this interrogation room. The most suspicious detail detectives uncovered was that at the exact time of Crystal's murder, all security cameras inside the house had been mysteriously disabled, one covered in tape. Even more shocking, only 2 people besides Crystal had access to them, her husband Daniel and their eldest daughter. From that moment, something felt undeniably off, and as the pressure built, Detective Martinez, who had been following the case for months, stepped in, this time with far clearer intentions and a sense that the truth was finally within reach.
Yep. I know, I did what you said. Call the police. Couldn't reach you. Call the police. I did what you said. I didn't protect her. It's not your fault. I was to protect her. It's not your fault. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I actually wasn't in today. As I heard. Chris said she was being you. I don't know where that came from. I saw that screenshot that they sent. Did she mention anything about that prior to that text? She was supposed to. She just texted. She didn't answer. But I asked questions. Oh,
Dan, when did you leave the house today? Guess. Approximate.
It's on the count.
You said 8:20, and you left in which vehicle?
Mine.
Which is a?
Black Monster.
Okay. 8:24 sound right?
Okay.
You left out of the garage?
Always. Was her car in the garage at the time? Yeah. She was rushing me out the door. Didn't feel good. I was late leaving. She told me that I had to go because she had a meeting. She was rushing me, and I went. She was in the kitchen. She was in the kitchen, and you couldn't get a hold of her. She sent you that text, and that's as much contact as you have with her today. And I panicked when the check marks weren't there. I didn't. What if the check marked me?
Daniel tried to portray himself as the victim, but his account quickly unraveled. He claimed Crystal texted him that morning about a meeting with a detective and asked him to pick up their children, the last messages she ever sent. Forensic evidence told a different story. The texts were scheduled and sent after Crystal was already dead, unlocked using Daniel's fingerprint. Metadata placed both phones inside their home just before Daniel left for work. Further inconsistencies sealed the doubt. The tone and phrasing of the messages didn't match Crystal, and surveillance footage showed Daniel leaving before 8:25 a.m., dismantling his alibi. With the digital trail contradicting his story, detectives shifted focus to the marriage and the darkness beneath it.
I felt like she was keeping secrets. boy. She didn't tell me about that man. She keeps disappearing for hours. I told her Rose was a duck and should divorce. I don't want to divorce her. I told her she can't keep secrets. I asked for a divorce. Kickman. Before she told me. She would leave and be gone. So, last night, no, not last night. During Thursday, Tuesday, she left 2 hours early to get more water. No reason, just 2 hours early. She kept leaving early, coming home late. I asked, where? She wouldn't tell me.
This is a cell phone consent, which would allow us to go through your cell phone so we can verify the communications between you and Christine and everything like that. But in order for us to do that, you need to allow us to do that. Is that something that you'd be willing to? Yeah. So we can download your phone, just so we can match up all the information that we'll get from Christine's phone to your phone, and that way we can kind of backtrack everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And again, this is voluntary. You're providing your consent to allow us to do that. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll print your name here, make, model, phone number, and any password you have, and then any of these accounts. And then if you can also include in one of these the share account for the Nest cameras and the Google stuff.
So how do you share videos? Do you know? Okay. Boss. Okay. Oh, then we've got a person. Maybe do that? Okay. So you said the cameras are on all the time? Yeah. Looks like about 8:15, a lot of them go off.
The side yard, the signal gets weak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying a booster. But that one gets interrupted, but no, they don't turn off. So it needs power.
So in this, it shows the last events in the library. Under the library tab, it shows yesterday at 8:22, 08:22. Of nothing, just darkness. And before that, it shows what looks like you in the driver's seat. Right? Is that you?
No, that's her.
Oh, that's her. Okay, sorry. I can't really see it. Okay.
It needs a length of video to upload to the cloud. So that usually means parked and got out real fast.
Okay, so there's nothing on that.
Daniel and Crystal's marriage was falling apart. They still lived under the same roof, but in separate parts of the house, a physical reminder of the emotional distance between them. Divorce was already on the horizon, and everyone close to Crystal knew how volatile Daniel could become whenever the subject came up. That tension soon led detectives to a critical piece of evidence, one that would turn the entire case upside down.
So there's a recording event around 11:30, but not really at the same time. It shows there's activity. It has a indication that there's something there. But then it says the camera's offline.
And you mentioned earlier that she didn't tell you about something kicks. Which one was that?
Kickman.
Kickman.
That's what we call a stalker. Doesn't deserve a name.
Okay, which
Came up with Kickman because
yeah, I remember having that
Molly
conversation.
was going to kick his.
I remember having that conversation with you. What, do you remember that email address that she didn't tell you about?
It's in the log.
Okay.
I didn't have to remember it's in the log. Something kicks.
Alright,
You have the log, right?
I do have the log. Make sure I'm getting the timeline right again. She didn't tell you about this a month before it even got reported to me. Or was there a new something that you were unaware of between the time it was reported to me and now?
I don't remember when she went to you. I don't. I'm visualizing the log. She got, Kickman reached out early October. I don't know. She told me after Halloween when she got the picture of me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she did this.
It soon became clear that Crystal hadn't told Daniel about the harassment, and their trust had already broken. She tried to manage it alone. The stalker claimed to be Jack, a man she had dated, and a vague timeline between 1999 and 2000, though he had reached out a few times years earlier. This time felt different, darker, more obsessive, but detectives soon uncovered something far stranger. The home security cameras couldn't have gone offline unless someone turned them off through the app. Of the 4 cameras outside, only the one near the garage remained on, and it captured Daniel leaving for work 20 minutes later than usual. With so many red flags, detectives again urged him to gain more insight into their marriage.
And then tell me a little bit more about your guys' relationship. Like, I kind of want the intimate details, to be perfectly honest, because it's important for us to understand what's sort of led up to today. I mean, like, what's a normal You were super detailed in your account of the last 24 hours, but none of it really included your relationship or your interaction. It's very, and I know how families are. I have my own family. It's very much like a business, right? We all have our roles and we all got to get it done. But what's going on with you guys? Because it seems like there's been a lot of stress on your relationship.
We are not in a good place.
Okay.
We have not been in a good place for a while.
Okay.
I told her I wanted counseling. She said no.
And when was that? Sort of ultimatum. Long time ago?
Months.
Okay.
We live together. We have joint finances. We obviously co-parent the kids. We do maintain separate bedrooms. That's kind of where we are in the ebb and flow of a relationship.
Okay.
So that it's tough enough to say this. Just let me get it out.
Sure.
So other than talking about the kids, there hasn't been a lot of dialogue for a little while. I can't put a time frame on it. It hurt me that she didn't tell me about the stalker when it started, but
but she brought me in right away once he sent her a picture of me. I think that was Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Okay.
So she told me the next day, and I was definitely hurt and angry that she was keeping that as a secret. She said that she'd been confiding in her brother Lars, and so.
Did she ever tell you why she didn't tell you that?
Because she and I were
Okay.
not in a good and healthy place. Well, not the phrase I should say. So she was confiding more in him. As once she told me, I wanted access to her logs. I wanted to know what the conversations were with Martinez. And at that point, she brought me fully up to speed, and I saw the horrible messages. I saw the ad, all that crap. And that's when she and I started working on game plans. Again, what do we do to protect family, to protect the kids? Define your threat level. So that we had a clear plan of attack. We could just say, we're at nuclear, it's a full lockdown, here's what it means. We're at red, here's what that means.
And the kids were kind of involved in that too, because you kind of shared a little bit with that the kids were somewhat aware of what was going on. But
They had to know enough to be cautious.
No one suspected that the danger was hiding in plain sight. Daniel presented himself as the grieving husband, yet when Crystal's mother came forward, her revelations tore through his facade, and the investigation took a chilling new turn.
This isn't real. This isn't real yet. It's not real. No, it can't be. Anthony, was it really her stalker?
Let's kind of, if we can start with, just give me an insight of what your daughter's life looked like.
Her life was hell these last months and last year. Her husband and her were not on good terms. He could get, Dan is explosive, but I've never seen him, hurt her. He would hurt the kids, but some people think the corporal punishment is okay in the kids. But he would hurt the kids. She was worried about that. She told me their marriage was over in September. We had a chat about that. She didn't know how to leave, and she couldn't leave because she couldn't leave the kids alone with him. She didn't feel comfortable leaving them alone with him.
Dan and Crystal were in the worst phase of their marriage, yet Crystal tried to hold everything together for the sake of their kids. Detectives, however, believed that the string of threats might have brought them closer, but Crystal had other plans that would ultimately lead to a tragedy no one saw coming.
I started carrying these weapons. Christine also has her own pepper spray. She started carrying a handgun that her father had given her right up until she took it to a range and it jammed. And she decided she didn't trust it anymore, so she went out and bought a new one.
Okay.
So she had a gun. She was armed. I don't want lethal items. We didn't let each other kind of be alone anywhere. Had to take dogs for walks. We would do that together.
So it almost sounds like all this kind of maybe even brought you guys closer, not maybe emotionally closer, but you guys were physically sort of working on things besides your kids.
there was a
mutual.
Yeah, there was, over the course of November, there was a better team feel.
Okay.
After our earlier interview, with things nagging at me and her not answering my questions, I got to a point where it wasn't an ultimatum, but it was I had her as a partner to protect the family, but it didn't feel like a partner who valued me. And I told her at that point, I told her I didn't want to die for someone who didn't care about me anymore.
That's really hard.
And I told her I wanted a divorce.
And when did that conversation happen?
Oh, weeks ago, before Thanksgiving.
Okay. And how did she take that?
Angry. Obviously. Mostly anger that I said it now, with everything else going on. So she said she didn't want to talk about it until all of this was done. And then he got quiet, and we just kind of sat in that. And so we kind of alternated conversations between how do we protect the kids, how do we secure the house, how do we start the process. And so we had already planned on doing Thanksgiving in multiple locations because with the ad we were really scared.
So do you think she wanted to get a divorce? Or do you think is that why she shut you down? Like, we're not doing anything until this is over? When you kind of had your epiphany of it sounds like you feel like you were completely, I don't know, written off by her, or that she had zero care for you anymore.
I don't want a divorce.
Okay.
I have loved her for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was hurting when I said that, and what I wanted was her to say she cared about me. But she didn't. And she was ready for divorce. So we talked about how do you divvy up the assets. We own 2 houses. On its face, that should be easy. We're both on both mortgages. That's a pain. So we were talking through how do you start to do that? And so I would say it was as amicable as it could be for 2 people who may or may not have really wanted it.
Okay.
Strangely, when Crystal decided to hold off discussing the divorce amid all the chaos, the stalker's messages suddenly stopped. But that wasn't the end of it. Detectives soon uncovered disturbing details that would take the investigation into even darker territory.
With Crystal, what do you think? What's your theory?
I don't know.
Well, you gotta have one. I mean, I'm sure a million different thoughts have run through your mind. What do you think happened?
I had left. She was in the kitchen. She would have had whatever meetings that she had. Then she said she was meeting with you. But you know nothing about that, so I have no idea what that is. What's his name? The other detective said that the cameras were turned off. That shouldn't happen. The only way that the cameras can be turned off is through the app. One of us has to hit the button. Internet outage will cause something that doesn't turn them off. It just interrupts the feed for a couple minutes. He said they were turned off. And one of them looks like it has something on it. So, in my brain, I'm thinking someone made a move against her. I don't know where the dog is. He's somewhere in the house. Really jumpy, skittish dog. She has a gun that she carries around. It's always in one of three places. Well, I guess four. It's either on her. She has I think 3 different holsters now. It's either on her. If she's in her office, it's on the filing cabinet directly behind her. If she's anywhere else on the first floor, it's on here, the high counter next to the plants. Always. It's either here, or if she's upstairs, it is sitting next to the headboard. So, in my brain, someone came to the door. It's Christmas time. I have Amazon packages being delivered every day. Someone came to the door. She doesn't usually answer the door. But she must have, because she must have. So in my brain, the story that I have is someone came to the door. Maybe she went outside to get a package, and they must have come in. And she's a fighter. She's strong. She would have fought. That's why I warned them when I was at the house, and I asked, did she get any shots off? She has a gun. She just went through the concealed carry class. She has an appointment to get her license. She had to have been surprised, but without a doubt, she fought.
And why do you say that? Have you guys fought before, or you just know that?
No.
Okay.
I know her.
Okay.
She refuses to be a victim. I don't. Gun, no gun. She will fight.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
So, you think either she was taken off guard or it was somebody familiar to her?
I don't know who familiar would have been. She had to have been taken off guard. Because the familiar would be, people don't just swing by the house. It just doesn't happen. I was at work. I assume Lars was at work. Her parents are retired, but nobody just swings by.
This led to another major clue. If someone had wanted to enter the house, there would have been clear signs of a break-in, but there were none. The only logical explanation was that Crystal had been ambushed from behind, overpowered before she could react. And then came the turning point. Detectives uncovered Daniel's chilling search history. How long can you be unconscious without brain damage? It shifted the case entirely. But if Daniel was the mastermind behind it all, one question still loomed large. What role did Crystal's ex, Anthony, play in this? Determined to find out, detectives went straight to him.
Hello?
Hello, Anthony?
Yes.
How's it going? I'm Detective Martinez with the Broomfield Police. How are you today?
I'm doing alright. How you doing today?
Doing all right.
I just want to know how this all happened because I haven't, I know a little bit. Something about Christelle and her husband and stalking charge. I haven't been to Colorado since 2016, so it's like, I don't know how that could be possible, and that's all I know.
Okay.
So after Jack was cleared of suspicion, all eyes turned to one person. Piece by piece, detectives began assembling crucial evidence, each clue stripping away the lies until the truth stood clear as daylight.
I mean, who do you think killed her?
I think it's Kickman. I think it's Anthony.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's the first thing anyone said that sentence.
I'm sorry that's what happened, and that's why we're taking this so seriously.
I think it was Kickman. And Anthony, I'm sorry. If not him, I have no other suggestion.
Yeah. What if I told you that we had already spoken with Anthony and there's no way that he was in town today?
That I have nothing. And I'm terrified to bring my children home.
What are you terrified of?
If it wasn't him, who was it? I replaced all of our locks after the garage intruder. I'll do it again. I got the cameras. I don't know who else.
Okay. So there's a lot of moving parts to this investigation. There's a lot of things that we're doing and working on, and a lot of, our entire investigations unit, I would say, fairly is working on this, right? Because, like I said, we take this very seriously. This doesn't happen very often in Broomfield. And
lived here for a long time.
We take all crime very seriously, especially crime like this. So, one of the things that we really started looking into today in an effort to find Anthony is what is it? The Gmail. What was the other?
Text now numbers.
The text now numbers and things like that. And
I don't know what text now is.
It's like an app that you can get fake phone numbers and contact people through Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Wi-Fi only.
Oh, spoofing. Gotcha.
Kind of.
Yeah, not really spoofing, but like if I wanted to text somebody, let's say I was buying something on Craigslist and I didn't want them to know my real phone number because I don't want them coming back to me or whatever, I would just get a text now account and it would, almost like a Google Voice, whatever, okay? So, the really weird part about looking into some of that stuff, because we have what we call exigent circumstances right now. You understand what that means? Like, so for us in our legal mumbo jumbo, that means that someone died, and we're looking into it very seriously. And so there's an sense of urgency in getting that information.
Gotcha.
Okay, so companies are more likely to cooperate with us if we're investigating that versus a harassment or a stalking or...
Okay. Remember how we talked when I submit my legal paperwork, it takes a while. Yeah. But because somebody was murdered today, we have the ability to tell them that, and then they will generally provide us with information immediately. That's what exigent circumstances means.
Okay.
Because we're trying to find the killer.
So some of that information that we've been able to receive today is a little bit, I don't know, concerning, I guess. The Gmail account that, and you can speak more specifically.
And that text now number we were talking about, the number that he initially texted Chris Steele from. The Gmail account, the Kickman account that you guys initially received with the photo of you in it, and the phone number, those originated through their IP addresses at your office.
Investigators uncovered a chilling trail of deceit. The burner phones used to threaten Crystal were all linked to Visa gift cards bought in Daniel's name. Then came the location data. Each burner phone moved in sync with his personal one, pinging from the same towers at the same time. The stalker Crystal feared wasn't out there somewhere. He was right beside her all along. Digging deeper, detectives traced the threatening emails to Daniel's own workplace, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. IP logs confirmed it. Every message of fear had come from his office, written by the very man her kids trusted most.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, he took the photo of me at my office.
Right. But both of those accounts originated from IP addresses that list back to your office.
I don't know what to do with that.
Because right now we're working with the director to get all of the IP information to see what devices we're using that specific address during that time. So,
okay.
Because I guess the biggest concern is just the timing of everything, that it just doesn't quite make sense to have somebody create an account, take a photo, and then immediately send it off, and then the account is no longer being used.
None of this makes any sense.
And also, let's add on top of that the fact that there's, as far as we know right now, there's no physical way that Kickman could have been involved in this based on where he's at right now. So, you know, the mystery continues, and
it has to be that.
Well,
things are certainly pointing in one direction right now.
Well, and you've given us reason. Here's the other thing, Daniel, is I sympathize with the fact that you're in an extremely frustrating situation, and I don't think that your married life is anything that I would want to be a part of. I know you want to be a part of your kids' lives. So all I'm saying is I can understand, or I can try to understand how frustrating or how frustrated you must feel. But you can also sense that's why we're asking all these questions about infidelity and everything else. Is there some other mystery man that we don't know about? Or is this a case of...
I have been faithful. Period. I want to believe that she has. But I don't know. Is there another person? I don't know.
I mean, you said yourself, too, and I'm just going to put it out there, because I think we're all thinking it, or at least probably we are, is that, and when you're telling the story, I drew that conclusion that a lot of this stalking stuff in this report that you guys, of this kick man, has brought you closer and maybe given a little bit of hope in your relationship that you can accomplish something together.
I don't know where you're going with that.
You're using this...
My brain is fried.
I'm sure.
Kind of using this circumstance to bring you guys closer together.
Eventually, detectives learned this wasn't Daniel's first time crossing the line. Back in 2001, while studying in Washington, D.C., he had a restraining order filed against him by an ex-girlfriend. When she tried to move on, Daniel pretended to be his own roommate, using a fake identity to gain sympathy and manipulate her into staying in touch. The parallels were impossible to ignore. The same obsession, the same control, the same deceit. Detectives recognized the pattern immediately. They knew they had their man and gave Daniel one last chance to come clean.
I don't have a narrative or a story that I can offer you. Because I thought we were on the same side.
We are on the same side. Safety. Figuring out the truth.
What would you think, or what would you say if we told you that other people you talk to that are close to your wife expressed that she had, maybe you told them that she suspected you of having...
She said that right to my face. That she wanted to know if it was me. And I told her.
But why would she suspect that? I don't understand how we take the leap from we haven't had a romantic relationship for a long time in our marriage to I suspect my husband is pretending to be my stalker. How does that happen? There's a missing explanation in there. There's a missing piece to that. I mean, human nature. There has to be some. I get that you're very calm. You seem like a very calm, logical guy. Like
yourself analytical.
Analytical. I get that, but human nature. There are going to be volatile, heated, whatever word you want to use, moments in a relationship where you love someone and you don't feel it back. And I haven't heard a lot of that from you. Although it sure sounds like she was accusing you of everything and not giving you any love or support or even making you feel like she cared. So there has to be more to your story even with her. I don't know. How do you explain the cameras being turned off then? If it's some mystery man. Because I'm also pretty sure that Google's going to be able to tell us what device turned those cameras off.
But it can't be mine. I didn't turn them off. I put them up. I brought out the electrician to hardwire everything. I brought them back, but I did a job. I don't have a story to tell you. I wish I did.
Are you hungry or anything?
And you did something that you regret now because you can't go back. And you can't go back to, stalking her secretly or pretending to be her stalker or making plans, having cooperation with one another, although it's not romantic, having cooperation with one another to fight together against Kickman. That's what I think happened. And I think it's a shame that you're not being more honest about it because your wife deserves it.
I've answered all of your questions that I can. Please let me know when I can return to my house. I need to figure out what the heck to do for a dog. I need to take care of my children. You have your theory. It is wrong. Please find
Well, from a grieving husband, Daniel's behavior quickly shifted to that of a predator, carefully hiding his footprints while trying to paint himself as a victim. But it was too late. Detectives had their timeline. On the morning of December 14th, 2023, Crystal dropped off 2 of her 3 children at school and returned home just before 8, unaware of what awaited her in the garage. Daniel was already there, waiting in silence. As she stepped inside, he ambushed her from behind, striking her head with a blunt object before stabbing her in the heart. Forensics confirmed it. Daniel used Crystal's phone for pre-scheduled text, faking her life. He taped the doorbell camera blue and disabled security to erase proof. On December 16th, police finally came for Daniel.
Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Hands on your face! Do not move. Your hands on your face! You want to toss? Make sure we're good on the car. You caught custody? Yep.
Though Daniel tried to deny everything, claiming it was all part of a conspiracy, his act fell apart quickly. Within hours, he was taken into custody and prepared to face trial. No longer the grieving husband, but the prime suspect in his wife's brutal murder. In April of 2025, Daniel Krug finally faced justice. The prosecution laid out an unshakable case. Digital footprints, fake accounts, a staged timeline, and messages he thought would hide his guilt. Every detail pointed back to him. The defense tried to argue there was no physical DNA evidence, calling the investigation flawed, but the jury didn't buy it. On April 17, 2025, after days of testimony, the verdict was read. Guilty on all counts: first-degree murder, 2 felony counts of stalking, and criminal impersonation. In December of 2025, Daniel received life without parole, plus 9.5 years for other charges.